Hari Om. This is a discussion on mental disorders. I have already spoken in the first part, and this is in continuation with that. How yoga can help get rid of these mental problems, psychological problems. To understand it a bit more, you need to go back to the purpose of yoga, the goal of yoga. The first idea of yoga that is most important is the idea of equality and divinity. Who is me? Oh, I'm not just body. I'm not just this mind. I'm just not this intellect. But I represent that cosmic divine consciousness. Like I have that divine consciousness in me, everything around me and everyone around me has the same cosmic energy. So naturally, the equality is a reality. And that equality is also in relation to the divine expression that is manifesting within me. The question is how to achieve, how to understand, and how to realize this equality and divinity. And that's where yoga says that we need to balance our life. Our life is mostly dominated by materialistic ideas. Fulfillment of our desires, fulfillment of our material goals. Desires, oh I want this house, oh I want this new clothes, oh I want this car, oh I want to have a nice family life, oh I want to achieve success in my business, I want to achieve success in my education. This is about Kama and Artha. That is our material side, which heavily dominates today's life. There is a second part of life that is called spiritual life. In yoga, two words are talking about the spiritual life, that is dharma and moksha. Dharma is the responsibility and duty that I have towards everyone around me. That includes all the people, that includes the mother nature, that includes the animals, that includes the plants and uh, vegetable kingdom. So basically, what I receive from all of them, I receive so many things from people, I receive so many things from mother nature, I receive so many things. In fact, everything that I receive is from someone else. So when I think of giving it back, that's dharma. Giving back in a non-attached way, giving back because it's my responsibility, giving back without ego, selfless way, that is dharma. And moksha, when I'm giving that to realize the oneness of the cosmos, this is spiritual dimension. The problems in our day-to-day life is material life is the focus, and spiritual life we have forgotten. So bringing balance in these two is a purpose of yoga. Yoga also explains the same thing from another perspective. The yoga talks about three energies that work in us: Gyana Shakti or Jnana Shakti, the power of our intellect, our thinking, our decision making that develops into our perceptions, attitudes. This is one force, intellect. Second force is emotions, Bhakti. Emotions, feelings, they are also very powerful. And the last is my actual behavior, karmas, actions. Now these three energies, my intellect, what I think, what I feel, and what I do. Thinking, feeling, and doing. Generally, there is a gap between that. My feeling and my thinking may not go right, may not go in hand. Someone who smokes, he knows that smoking is injurious to his health. That is his intellect. That is his thinking. But the emotions say, no, no, I miss it, I want it. And the action follows that. And that creates stress or negative experience. Relationships, emotions, and intellect. Intellect says, oh, This relationship is not working, but emotions say, but I like it. Sometimes the emotions say that, oh, you should do a different job. But intellect says, no, but this job gives me more money. So there is always a gap. Sometimes the intellect and emotions come together, but the actions don't support. I want to start practicing exercise and yoga every day in the morning, but I give up because intellect, emotions, although they agree, the actions say, oh, let me sleep for a little while. So this is also a very important purpose. And if you can bring these intellect, emotions, and actions together, that is exactly the idea of equality and divinity that will manifest from your karmas, from your emotions. That is when you will balance your material and spiritual life. And if you fulfill this purpose of yoga, yoga says there will be no psychological problems. Let's move ahead. Someone asked him, a guru, I want peace. A simple statement, I want peace. What the guru said, remove that I because that is ego. That's bringing that self-centeredness. That's bringing that ego. That self-centeredness is limiting dimension of your mind because you can't see beyond yourself. When I can't see beyond myself, I can't really see the solutions to my problems because I'm limited. The desires that want is what dissipates my mind, is what makes me addicted, is what makes me habitual, it is what makes you not change. There is a resistance to change. There is a reluctance to change. So one cannot have peace if these two things are present, and this is exactly what yogic texts have talked about. If you understand the root causes of problems, the first is the fear of death, fear of loss, which results in insecurities, which results in possessiveness. Again, this insecurities and possessiveness and fear of loss is connected with desires. Sensory desires, food, sex, want to see beautiful, want to have good things, all these things, they create cravings, they create likes and dislikes. And these cravings, these likes and dislikes, if we don't express them or if we don't get the chance to fulfill our desires, it results in anger. The ego becomes more powerful. And this ego is carrying all of these impressions from desires and fear. I want this, I like this, I don't like this, I feel like this. My idea is this, I don't want to change. This I-centered thing becomes a big limitation in my journey to evolve and bring flexibility. So this fear, desire and ego together, they result in all these following problems. Uncontrolled sensual desires, sensory desires results in habits and addictions. Because of strong ego, we can't really connect with people. Feeling of isolation, rejection, loneliness. We do have a lot of expectations out of our desires, born out of our desires. And these expectations from ourselves also, our family, our society, everything around. Even from nature we have these expectations. Oh, we need to have the temperatures within control. I don't like this very hot weather. Oh, I don't like this very cold weather. Oh, I want this much rain. Oh, this year, whatever it is, we really don't have control over. But still I have so many expectations. These expectations and these desires and this loneliness makes us greedy and makes us attached to whatever we have. So greed and attachment also becomes a very strong component in my day-to-day life. Possessiveness and all of these things together lead to social, environmental, and health related problems. So these are the root causes of our problems. Environmental problems, for example. Everyone is increasing carbon footprint. What is the reason for carbon footprint? The desires. I want this vehicle because it makes my life easier. So I'm increasing my carbon footprint. I want new products every few months. Every product that we purchase, carbon footprints. Even when I can use my old phone, I still feel, no, I need nice phone. Oh, this nice, it looks so nice, desire. That increases carbon footprints. Social things. Because of my ego and my limitations, my social circles are not good because I don't have time to interact with people. Say, I am so busy, what I am doing? Oh, well, I am fulfilling my desires and fulfilling my ego achievements. Well, it's good in a way and it's necessary, but then too much of it does put limitations. Health related problems. I'm trying too hard to earn money that fulfills my desire and ego, that creates health related problems. So if you really understand what yoga says as the root causes of problems, you will come back to this fear, desire, and ego. Now once you understand this, the whole idea of yoga techniques is designed around these basic root causes. What does Ashtanga Yoga say? Let's review it very quickly. The whole idea of Ashtanga Yoga starts with one word, Anushasanam, Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Yoga is a discipline. If you see every component of yoga, there is discipline. Asanas, discipline of body. Pranayam, discipline of breath. That results in discipline of your mind. Meditation, direct discipline of mind. Yamas and Niyamas that I'm going to talk after this. So every component of yoga is about discipline. Now see the definition of yoga in Ashtanga Yoga. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is to control the patterns of mind. Yoga is to control the functions of your mind. What are these functions? These are the functions that cause conditionings, that cause likes, dislikes, that results in desires, results in addictions, results in anger, results in hatred, results in anxiety, stress, you name it. These are all the conditionings. So the whole idea of yoga is to get rid of these conditionings, get rid of these patterns of the mind that create negative experience. Once you remove these conditionings, or as you're removing these conditionings, the second thing that yoga focuses on is increasing willpower. I want to give up the coffee because I'm drinking it many times in the day. I know it's not good, but it's hard for me to get rid of that habit. So what yoga says, increase your willpower. So when you say you will stop drinking coffee, your mind will listen. Right now, I don't want to drink coffee, but I can't stop it because I don't have willpower. So the whole idea of yoga is to increase the willpower, then remove the old conditionings that are causing negative experiences. And in the process, empower the mind to experience your own positive state at your own will. So all the techniques in Ashtanga Yoga also are designed to achieve this. Let's move on. The first step of Ashtanga Yoga is Yama. Yama is generally called as social discipline, but technically speaking, it's actually a discipline that you're imposing on yourself. So it's what I am going to do in social settings, we can say that. But it's not actually a social discipline as such, like religions tell. Religions tell, oh, everyone who is following this path should follow this. Yoga is not interested in that. Yoga is talking about if you want to experience positive state, you need to follow this in social settings. First Yama, let's discuss it briefly. First Yama, Ahimsa, non-violence. People talk a lot about it and there's increasing awareness about following the path of non-violence, which yoga has supported. Buddha has supported it too. Bhagavad Gita has talked about non-violence as one of the virtues of divine. How does violence affect our state of mind? Violence is nothing but aggression. And it's known now scientifically that the moment you have aggressive thought, just even a thought, forget about action, forget about full-blown anger reaction, forget about that. Just even a thought of anger secretes stress hormones in our body. So naturally, a thought of violence also is not good for my health. It's very well known now that the stress hormones damage, although they prepare us to fight the situation, to deal with the situation, it does take its toll on our body and mind. So ahimsa is specifically said to reduce the stress hormones. Satya, truth. Again, same connection. Untruthful behavior creates stress. There are these lie detector tests that are used. Polygraph machines are used. If someone is lying, his brain shows more stress. Because truth comes naturally to us, and untruthful behavior certainly creates stress. To avoid that stress, to avoid the mind, to avoid this negative experience to the mind, the satya or truth is recommended. Brahmacharya or celibacy is another very important principle. The reason for this principle is what desires do to our mind. When many desires come to our mind, or even one desire come to my mind, and it's repeating again and again in my mind. Say for example, I want to eat something sweet. I try and stop that desire, but the desire keeps coming back again and again, again and again. And a point comes when I really can't focus on my work, but my focus is on that sweet that I have kept in the fridge. This is a dissipation of mind. And this dissipation of mind makes us lose the willpower. Certainly it creates addictions and habits. So brahmacharya is about all our desires. Sexual desire is a very important one, which is often connected with brahmacharya. But brahmacharya is connected with all the desires, sensory desires that we have. Sexual desire is undoubtedly one of the most powerful desires, but so also eating, food eating, our addictions to food. So brahmacharya is all about controlling these sensory desires so that our mind can be concentrated easily. Asteya or non-stealing, it is quite similar to satya or truth, something that doesn't belong to me. If I take it, it certainly disturbs my mind because that's not the truth. The last one is aparigraha, non-possessiveness. Too many material desires, sensory desires result into greed. And when I have too many things, my mind is constantly dwelling on these desires and objects that I have. That creates a lot of attachment. And these attachments also create anxiety because there is a fear of losing it. If we can follow this non-possessiveness, it will certainly stop our mind from experiencing this anxiety. To Niyamas. In yoga, in Ashtanga yoga, the second step is Niyamas. This is more connected with our self-disciplined behavior. First Niyama is Shaucha, purity. Purity of body, mind, thoughts, emotions. If the body is not pure, say nose, lot of mucus, it creates uncomfortable feeling to the mind. The mind is not very focused and relaxed. So the physical toxins accumulating in our body also disturb the mind. The negative thoughts, of course, disturb the mind. Negative emotions, of course, disturb the mind. So Shaucha is a practice of purity. Try and get rid of this negative baggage that we carry, either in our body, mind, thoughts, or emotions. The second niyama is santosha. Santosha is contentment. But contentment can also be looked at as a non-reactive state of our mind. Whatever is happening, a peaceful content reaction. The moment we have a content reaction, our body is not stressed. Our mind is focused. So even in that negative situation, we can still take a better decision. So santosha, contentment, is actually helpful in maintaining peaceful and balanced state. You can avoid the negative reactions if you can maintain this state of mind. Tapa is austerities. This niyama is more to control the sensory organs. It's helpful in stopping your mind from getting dissipated and distressed because of the habits, addictions, or all of that. One cannot master this tapas or austerity within few days. It may take years. It may even take 12 years or 14 years or 15 years. But if one is persistent, then he or she can certainly master it. That's what the yoga texts say. A smoker can get rid of smoking. An alcoholic can get rid of alcohol. Any difficult habits can also be controlled. Then the next is swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is repetitive, continuous study. And that study can be of any of these: santosha, shaucha, tapa, or yamas, or even asanas, or even pranayam. Whatever you decide, this is my practice. And this practice is going to bring changes in myself. When you do those practices uninterrupted and for longer duration, then it will certainly bring the benefits and it will certainly improve the quality of our life. So Swadhyay is a way, is a dedicated technique of self-improvement. Anything you select, do it on for long duration without any breaks, and that will bring positive change. The last of the niyamas is a very interesting and a very important one. It's called Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara is the cosmic energy of the Mother Nature, the consciousness, the divine consciousness. Surrender, because I represent a small part of that consciousness. The ego that I have is not complete. The ego that I have doesn't know everything about my body, doesn't know everything about my mind. The science has realized few facts now, but the science also doesn't know everything. But what is science? It's an effort of my conscious mind to know more. But that conscious mind, that collective conscious mind of our scientists is also limited. So there is a dimension in my own consciousness inside me, which is knower of everything. And that is the divine dimension. The surrender to this is actually very necessary to bring down that ego. I know everything. I know myself the best. I know this is the right way. I know this is how it is going to work. I know this will never work. These are the ego expressions and they limit our mind. When you surrender that ego, the same energy that you have is free from that limited I. And that I is subject to stress, anxiety, fear, anger, depression. The moment you surrender, all of these go away. If I surrender, the ego goes away. So also anxiety, so also stress, so also sadness. Because all these negative expressions are connected with desires and ego. But the ego can only be only be reduced if you have surrender, dedication and devotion. This is Ishwar Pranidhan. Now after talking about Yamas and Niyamas, let's talk about another very important type of yoga, that is Karma Yoga. What is the idea of Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is nothing but a selfless action of fulfilling your own responsibility, and you do that responsibility, you fulfill that responsibility without attachment to the fruit of what you're doing. If I'm giving something as a present to my friend, for example, it is not for me, so I'm just giving it to him or her. But I have attachment. Oh, if I have given this to him on his birthday or her birthday, then she should do something for my birthday. So that is our attachment to the fruit. Or the person should say, thank you, oh, that's so sweet of you, that's so nice of you. If the person doesn't acknowledge, it brings disappointment. Our mental state is controlled by the fruit of our action. If I work very hard for the exam and I don't score enough, I get into depression. I put in a lot of efforts in my relationships. It's good to expect that, yeah, the partner should give it back. But expectation is one thing, and attachment to the idea of that partner must do this. And if the partner doesn't do it, it results in negative experience. Maybe we get angry, maybe we get depressed. Till the person does it, we are anxious. In the office, again, attachment to what I'm doing. Everywhere in our life, we have so many attachments to the fruit of our own action, which ultimately results in our negative experience. So the Karma Yoga is a very important path that talks about positive experience just by giving up your attachment to the fruit of your own action, and you think you're doing it as a responsibility, as your duty. You need to give back. And when you're giving it back, it's not for yourself, so it is selfless. This is all about meaning to life. Karma Yoga is all about looking at a very big picture. It's about what I receive, I have to give back. When I take something, I have already disturbed the harmony, so I have to give back. When I have taken something, say I have brought furniture, but that furniture has brought down one tree, so I have disturbed the balance. When I have earned money, the money has come to me, but then it has come from someone. Of course, I'm not saying that you should never take it, but what Karma Yoga is saying is when you take it, you give it back to restore the balance. Karma Yoga is a very powerful way of social bonding. When I am doing something for others, consciously, subconsciously, directly, indirectly, I get connected to them. And this social bonding is very important in overall health, happiness, and our well-being. Karma Yoga is the idea to live in the present because I have no attachment to what I have done. The no attachment let me get rid of lets me get rid of all the worries and anxieties and even stress. And if I can get rid of this stress, then there is no chance that I'll be also depressed because I have no attachment. I do something good with my good intentions or good expectations. I do it. If the result is better, it doesn't excite me. And if the result is not as per expectations, it doesn't disappoint me because I have no attachment. And that is exactly what we need to live in the present moment. So Karma Yoga is the answer to live in the present. I have already told you that it's a way to distress, getting rid of anger, frustration, disappointment. And there are many studies that also highlight the benefits of this Karma Yoga. This Karma Yoga is like a community service. It's like volunteering. The volunteers who work selflessly for others, whether it's for people or whether it's for some other good cause, typically they have less physical and mental health issues. And also, few studies have indicated that the volunteers actually live longer. So Karma Yoga is a very good way to keep the body and mind healthy. Moving ahead, there is another path, another type of yoga called Bhakti Yoga. This is again another interesting way to manage our mind. The negative emotions of anger, hatred, jealousy, sadness, suffering, they all create negative effect on the body and mind both. The health is disturbed. The idea of Bhakti Yoga is convert all of these negative emotions into a positive emotion of unconditional love. Because look at the effect of unconditional love. If you have unconditional love, like the mother has an unconditional love for the child, if the child says something to the mother doesn't get very angry because there's no ego in unconditional love. The unconditional love also takes away the fear. The child also loves his mother or her mother unconditionally. And because of that, the child is never, it doesn't have fear. When it's with its mother, no fear at all. That's the result of unconditional love. It's easy to control the desires with unconditional love. If I love my friend, then I can easily share my chocolate with my friend. The desire to eat the chocolate is not very important when it comes to my unconditional love for my friend. If you can study every emotion, every negative emotion in this way, you can find easily that it will help you remove all the negative emotions, especially connected with stress. Unconditional love is very important in social bonding. It builds very strong relations. Again, the social connections help in health, mental health and physical health. But this unconditional love of Bhakti Yoga is also talking about connection with the Mother Nature. The unconditional love for everyone, for every object, every human being, every plant, every animal, because they are a part of the same life that I am living in. The same Mother Nature that has created me has created all of these objects and all of these animals and all of these plants. So this idea of equality allows us to connect with people and with Mother Nature. Now this Bhakti Yoga, which is focusing so much on unconditional love, what is this unconditional love doing? It channelizes our emotional energy, and that channelized emotional energy is called as Bhakti, or you can say the energy of devotion and surrender. That's just united, concentrated emotional energy. We can get rid of all our anxieties, worries, in this flow of faith. There are researches which show that the beliefs, the spiritual beliefs, if the people who have spiritual beliefs, I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about spiritual beliefs. It may be anything. Many religious people also have spiritual beliefs. And these spiritual beliefs have shown that people experience less mental health problems and improvement in physical health, especially if these people are undergoing some treatment. So there's improvement in healing as well. Moving ahead, if you look at this Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, what do? They basically strengthen the connection to the Mother Nature. Every object, the energy behind that object is the same energy. For example, let's take Earth. The plant takes the energy of the sun. The chlorophyll converts all of this energy, and then we eat this plant, or the animals eat this plant. That energy of the sun is taken by the animals or human beings. So the energy of the sun is same, whether it's animal, whether it's plant, whether it's human beings. So we all have the same energy. Now every object is a part of creation, and it plays a role. Ecology of forest, every plant there, every tree there is important. Every animal plays a role. Every animal contributes. Every plant contributes to the survival of that ecology. Every human being has a role to play in this creation. And every human being also has to give back by playing its role to the perfection. So that is a perfect connection. It's like a enclosed system where every object has its own importance. So we all have equal importance, and we all have to play our role equally. And that is what is interconnected life. My life is not independent. I can't claim, oh, I have so much money, oh, I have my own house, and I'm going to lock it, and I'm independent. I don't need anyone's help. That's not possible. Even when I'm using my mobile phone, so many thousands of people have contributed to make that phone. The designers, the engineers, the companies. So many different components made by so many different companies. Every company has few thousand people. So thousands of people have contributed to making that one phone. Now that phone has a SIM card. Now that SIM card is again belonging to some company. Again, there are thousands of people. There's big networks that these companies, means the people, have established. When using one phone, how many people have contributed to making that possible for me? So my life cannot be independent. It's interconnected. And yoga says, if that life is so interconnected, I have to connect with people positively. I can't just enclose myself. That's not the reality. The reality is go out, connect. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has used the word lokasangraha, connection with people in a positive way. And this is being found in many researches. Research done by Harvard School, which talks about longevity and happiness connection. The people who were happy, they lived longest. And what was the common thing between all these people? It was a connection with other people. Positive connection, friends, partners. Yoga says, not only connect with people, but connect with every animal, every plant, every mountain, every river, every ocean. When we go on our holidays, tired from our work, stressed out from our work, from our job, and then we take holidays. Where do we go? We go in the nature. What is there in the nature? Beautiful mountain, wonderful river, maybe ocean. We watch the sunrise, watch the moon. That makes us happy. Take photos of plants and flowers and animals. Why it makes us happy? That is our inner nature, to be interconnected. And that connection is on a positive level. And yoga does teach us to be grateful for all what we receive. Gratefulness, feeling of gratefulness is positively connected with our mental health. So, all of these ideas of connection are very important in yoga. Let's move on. There is another type of yoga called Jnana Yoga or Gyana Yoga or Jnana Yoga. In modern psychology, you can compare it with cognitive therapies. Using our own intellect, using our own decision-making power, studying our own thinking patterns, studying our own habits, try and find what's wrong in my thinking pattern, what's wrong in my decision making, develop more clarity, develop evolved understanding, better understanding of the situation. Look at life as a positive journey. Develop our awareness of the reactions. When you develop all of this is what is mindfulness. Study yourself, swan, study your own strengths, your own weaknesses, your own ambitions, your own needs. This is a principle given by Swami Niranjanananda, a very interesting principle of Gyana Yoga, coming from the traditions of yoga. So just using our intellect, we can develop a better, stronger connection with our own positive state of our mind. We can improve our willpower, can increase our concentration, we can control our reactions, we can manage our stress. And these are different ways that yoga talks about how we can achieve positive mental state. I hope this part 1, which talked about yoga poses, breathing, meditation, relaxation, chanting, and now this part 2, which talked about other parts of yoga such as Yamas, Niyamas, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, connection to nature, and Gyana Yoga. I hope it will certainly bring some clarity to you as far as mental disorders and mental health is concerned. So I'm going to stop here. Hari Om.